3 years ago when I was diagnosed, we knew we were going on a journey. We didn't know where it was going to take us. So a few months ago when we took an unexpected turn, I went in for deep brain stimulation on February 6th, which I placed 2 probes into my brain. See these little spots that I have? We placed the probes and the surgery was successful and I began to recover. The hope was that would help with my Parkinson's disease and I'd be able to talk a lot better. While I was at the rehab hospital, things were going great. I was learning to walk again, talk, and everything was progressing. And then a couple weeks in, things took a turn for the worse.
When Greg had his deep brain stimulator put in on February 6th, we ran into a complication with pneumonia. We thought we had that resolved, but as we were at the rehab center, he still just wasn't feeling quite right. And I had the nurse come in and we checked everything out and put him on some oxygen. He seemed to be doing better. And we ate dinner and he was feeling so cold. And I said to him, do you want me to put you in the shower just to make you feel better? And he said, no, I really want to just go to bed. And then for some reason he changed his mind and said, no, let's put me in the shower. Well, I really believe that was God right there, because by putting him in the shower actually saved his life, because the steam opened up everything, but it launched him into respiratory distress. So I called in the nurse and I said, something's wrong here. We need to go to the hospital. We put him in the ambulance, took him to the ER room where...
I remember thinking it was so cool. I always wanted to take an ambulance or the sirens on, so I finally got to do that.
Yeah, it was great fun. Yeah. So
really, that's the last thing I remember for a few days, because...
We got to the ER and the doctor there was so super great, and she just told me, he's so tired, he's not doing well. I may have to put him under and intubate him, which at that point I didn't really understand what all that meant, but she ended up inducing a coma and putting him on a ventilator where he stayed for the next 7 days.
During that time, Lori's filled in the gaps for me. We saw God show up so many ways. One of those people, family and friends showing up on our behalf, just praying for us and caring for us. Doctors who knew what they were doing, who really came in, went above and beyond caring for us. I would say friends, pastor friends who flew in from out of town to see how we were doing.
Thursday, I was the first person that the ICU doctor wanted to talk to. You never want to be that first person that the ICU doctor wants to talk to. So the doctor basically just told me that I needed to make sure I had everything in order. And I thought, what is he saying to me? Am I not going to be able to bring Greg home? And the doctor wanted to take a CAT scan of his lungs to see exactly how bad his pneumonia was. So they took Greg down to do the CAT scan, and my son Zachary and I were standing outside the ICU doors waiting for him, because they said that he would be, they would bring him by when they were done with the CAT scan, so we would know when he was finished. So we were standing there talking outside the ICU when they called a code blue in radiology. And I just knew that it was Greg. And I looked at Zachary and I said, I think that's your dad. And so we ran down to where family and friends were, and I looked at them and I said, do you think that CAT scan is in radiology? And they said, yeah, I think so. And at that time, I looked and his doctor was running down the stairs, and I just knew it was him. And so the doctor came back and said he coded, he stopped breathing, they had to push the heart medicine and do compressions on him. But they went ahead and did the CT scan, which showed that Greg just was filled with pneumonia. And at that point, I really thought, this might be it for Greg, that they were trying all the measures that they could to help him, but it wasn't looking good. And so I had to talk to my children about the fact that Dad may not come home. I talked with Pastor Ryan and said, this is why we chose you. We believe in you. And he did such a great job. he called the church together and said, you know, at 7 o'clock we're coming together to pray. Right then, at that exact moment, was when Greg started showing signs that he was going to be okay. I just love how when our people got together to pray for him, that exact time was when you started showing signs, and I truly believe the prayers of the people are what brought Greg back to us.
You know, when people say they don't believe that God answers prayer, I just point me because God loves us and He answers our prayers. The church prayed, they asked God very specifically to wake me up, help me go home. That's exactly what happened. We serve a God of miracles, and I am a miracle, and I am a walking victory, but I want to declare my victory is not because I walked out of the hospital. My victory is because I'm in Christ.
That's right.
Whatever happened, you know, either way, the victory is already ours. My victory happened 23 years ago when I gave my life to Christ. I've been fighting from that victory from that point. We just fought through this last part, and we got victory. I got to walk out of the hospital, which is a huge victory for us. But either way, the victory is already ours.
And we had told our kids, no matter what happens, God's got this. He has a plan, He has control, and we truly believe that. I kept telling them, if Daddy dies, he wins. He gets to go to heaven. But the awesome thing about our faith is that we know we're going to see each other again. And that comes through salvation and relationship with Jesus Christ.
We fight from a victory that happened 2,000 years ago, not for a victory in our